city animal shelter. Any of you have opinions one way or the other on that? Not necessarily. Well, that's been going around about at least 2 years, and you know, there's been a lot, and passions run really deep on when you start talking about animals and your pets and things of that nature. And so through the last 2 years, the mayor's had a task force, and they've made recommendations, and the city council has just approved authorization recently to hire a design firm to come and design an animal shelter. And we're right in that process. Judge Stout with the county, they haven't formally, but they have indicated that they will participate in that project with the city. And so it looks like we're moving in that direction. Now the next stop will be to get a design and to get a cost for that, to see what it's going to cost to build an animal shelter that we need. Most estimates are looking at right around the $5 million range to build an animal shelter, and of course operational costs and those things. So we're still early in the process, but it's something that looks like has gained traction and probably is moving forward. Okay. Is that it, Sean? Resource, there's George Ritchie Road. There's the different phases that we're going to see, and that's a little hard to see as well, but George Ritchie Road will extend all the way. The first leg of it will be the yellow and the blue. We're going to be going from east back to the west, and that's basically from 259 over to McCann Road will be the first leg of it. And then on 259 it'll tie in about Henderson Lane. Are you familiar where Henderson Lane comes into 259? That's be about where it comes in. And then you know where George Ritchie Road is there at Gilmer Road. So it'll just go all east and west. Finally, here's just some resources available. City Council meetings are on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month. Our website, and then different social media things that we have going. And we have a deal called City Send. You can get a free app on your iPhone. And if you see a pothole, you can take a picture of it, hit the app, and it'll go straight into the city staff. And they'll eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, get the pothole filled. So we get a lot of. Now you can't complain about the city manager on the city send. You have to do that other ways. But if you see a pothole, you can certainly do that, or whatever, some trash or whatever. So we have that available. Any questions? I've covered a lot of stuff, and but I would be happy to take some questions.
Let's use the microphone.
Yeah, you might use that mic.
Well, I've got several of them. Let me limit it to ballpark 2. On the $61 million budget, what efforts were made to trim any fat in the $61 million? I'm just saying that as a business person, if I had a $61 million revenue, I'm pretty sure I could come up with 8 to 10%. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of doing it. Right. But what you've got is a situation like gas vapor in a jar. And whatever size jar you've got, that's how much it fills up. If you got you started with a $15 million surplus, you're going to end up at 9. If you had cut that thing 9%, you'd be right on the number. Mm-hmm. Instead of slipping backwards $6 million a year. Oh, okay, well, we've got this project, we got that project. I understand. It's going to be a new project every year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a new series of projects every year.
Right.
On the fire truck, for instance, how many bids did you get on that?
We bid that as what we call a single source supplier. I mean, you can't go down to Peter Chevrolet and buy a fire engine.
I understand. So you shop from one source to get that fire engine and that price. Is that right?
Well, they spec'd it out, and I think there's three manufacturing companies that build fire engines. And so I don't know exactly. Sean, do you know if they? I'm not for sure exactly. They spec'd it out, and then I don't know how many different companies they went with, but we purchased it through the Texas Cooperative Purchasing Act, where they take the bids and then the city purchases off that board. It's a statewide board for equipment like that. So, but I don't know exactly, if they went to different. No, I don't know.
No, you said and I said I don't know.
No, I said I don't know if they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the uniforms, the firemen's equipment that you're replacing on an ongoing basis? What happens to the old suits? You just throw them away?
No, I think maybe they go and they're sold. You can sell some of that equipment to smaller volunteer type fire departments or provide. Right. Right. And same thing on the fire engine, that one will be moved to reserve status.
I heard you say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just very disappointed that you can't cut any of the fat out of a $61 million budget and end up slipping backwards. I'm disappointed in that. I just want to go on record.
I think we spent, and I don't have the exact numbers, but last year's budget, I think we budgeted and spent $78,000 more than last year's budget. So in a $61 million budget, and to add the pay plan and those things, I think that's pretty flat. But yeah, you can always, we could probably go and trim some things or do some more things, but yeah. Well, but we're not doing that. Yes.
David, thank you for the information presentation.
Sure.
It looks like the funds are fairly level. That is, on the income side, the tax rate, the evaluation stays relatively constant. So it means the sales tax is one thing that fluctuates that you don't really have control over. So if the sales tax goes down, does that mean that everybody takes a cut across the board, or how does that
work? Happened in 2008 or 9 when the sale, and we monitor that very closely every month and do our own projections in house. Okay. And we cut a lot out, and I don't have the exact numbers, but we cut about $1.5 million out of that budget year to meet the expectations of our sales tax drop back in 2009, 2008, where you saw that number. Okay. So we can shut the spending down, shut travel down, things of that nature.
Okay. And related to that is, how does the national health care affect the city, if at all? Have you looked into that?
Well, that's a good question. This coming year is going to affect us. The city of Longview has a self-funded health plan, and by that I mean we do buy insurance on limits above certain levels, but our health plan is what we call self-funded. And I don't have all the particulars on. I notice you're going to have somebody going to talk about Obamacare and the health plan changes. Basically, we have to carry people that are up to 26 years old on the city health plan if they're still at home. We're going to have to pay a tax. I think it's like, I don't know how many thousand per person in the coming up next year for that per person that we're going to have to set aside. We've got 815 employees or so, 820, so you can do the math on that. But I don't think we really know exactly all the ramifications that we are going to have if all that. I don't think they know yet exactly all the unintended consequences that are going to be happening as part of that. But yeah, we and our risk manager is trying to get up to speed on that too, Don. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Well, it's going to really go right up beside it. Right, just if you are going north on 4th Street and you stop at that light, you turn left or right on Hawkins and just directly up, and it's going to take a bend. Now, there will be just a little portion of the city right-of-way of the park, but nothing that's even usable, but some of that land will be part of it. But it's going to kind of make a turn and then straight up and then turn around to the north side of it, right about between the ballpark and UT Tyler, right in there is where it's going to connect back into 259. No, ma'am. No. Yes, sir. Pardon? It's going to be right between UT Tyler and the city park, kind of just south of UT Tyler. Yes, sir.
I'd like to commend you on the stewardship of the residents' money here. I have lived and worked in Detroit, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Dallas, and Longview, and believe me, every place else I'd have lived would envy what we get in Longview for the money.
Well, thank you.